network to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro, Laura Rosenberg, we are here today. Our guest is Muni Long, the #1 R&B song in the country now. And a very an old friend of mine who has, I would love for everyone to hear her story because A, she's an independent artist. B, the success she's seeing with her new single, Hrs and Hrs, is all done by her. Muni Long, welcome to the program.
What's up? Good
What's
morning.
happening?
What up?
Hi.
Oh man, I'm still waking up. Not gonna lie.
So wait, Muni Long. So
Yep.
I've known you now probably going on 10 years. And for the audience, and if you haven't heard her song Hrs and Hrs, it's all over TikTok. It's all over Instagram. It's a phenomenal song written by her. She writes the music, she sings the music, all of it. But tell us your story. How did you it's tough to say how did you get to this point, but I guess, is there a way for you to kind of encapsulate how you got to this point of being an independent artist and bankrolling this entire situation and getting this #1 record?
Yeah, I mean, we all heard the term before, like overnight success. While it did, the song blew up in like the space of 6 days. Just from like when it started to catch on TikTok to where it started charting on the Apple iTunes charts. This has been like a 2-3 decade journey. I started singing when I was 2 years old. Wrote my first song at 8. Started on YouTube at 16. Got signed to a major record label at 18. From there, I had a deal with them for about 5 years. Started songwriting somewhere in there because I knew that, the record that I had, it was like this pop, like Katy Perry, Dollhouse was the name of it. And it was like, Katy Perry had just had a song that was called Hot and Cold, and it was literally like Hot and Cold 2.0. So they were calling me the Black Katy Perry, in the building and stuff. I was signed to Capitol Records. And when that started slowing down, I was like, I gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to go back to the country. Love my home, but I just wasn't trying to go back there and like go to college and get married and like do normal things. I've always wanted to be in show business. Like, I'm just extra. Like, I just want to be, sparkly and bright. And so I was like, well, what can I do? So that summer, I went on tour with Akon. He took me out. What year
are we in right now when you went on tour with Akon?
The OMG tour. I want to say that was like 2011.
Okay.
When he went out with Usher. Don't quote me on that. But the OMG tour, I went to be a songwriter and to ride on the tour bus with them and write songs. They had a studio bus that followed the tour buses around. And halfway through the tour, the studio bus broke down. And they had to, or the AC in the studio bus broke down. So they had to go get it fixed. They never got it fixed. So I ended up just staying on the tour. And I met so many people who I would go on to like use as musicians, dancers, just so many connections. But that summer I got the bright idea to move to LA from Atlanta because I was living in Atlanta, and start songwriting. My publisher, Ryan Price, who's now president of Warner Chappell, he was like, look, we just gonna, grind it out, go to LA, you get yourself there, we'll put you up. So I figured it out, got some coins together, got my management to rent me a car because I wasn't old enough to rent a car yet. And I just finessed it. And like for 2 years, I was out there grinding, stealing toilet paper and fruit from the studio to get by. And that happened for about 2 years of me just going to the studio, writing 2 songs minimum in every session, 5 sessions a day. Just turning them out,
working.
going crazy. And I got my first #1 in the UK with Cheryl Cole. It was called Promise This. And that was my first placement as a songwriter. And from there, the next song I got was Who Says, Selena Gomez. And then it was like Don't Wake Me Up, Chris Brown, Madonna. And it just started like California King Bed, Rihanna, and it was like snowball. And I was just chasing that, and then I finally got #1 pop, Timber. So that was 2014. So like from 2011 to 2014, I just went on this crazy writing binge. Made a name as a writer. And then at some point I was just like, okay, I'm tired of this. Like, I want to, get back to my artistry. And I just kept hearing like songwriting, that's where the money at. Like, you got to stay, you get a couple #1s as a songwriter, then you can go and do your artist thing. Not true. So I was very frustrated. I went through like depression period, was doing a lot of things to cope. Then I went through a crazy lawsuit with the management. It was like they sued me for millions of dollars at 23 years old. And I was just very
And you're
sad.
only in your early 20s being sued for millions.
23 years old, got sued for 20 million.
Wow.
Crazy.
I hate when that happens.
Right. And I was too scared to say anything to anybody because they were doing things like sending funeral arrangements to my house,
And this is your management doing
my
this?
God. So at 23, how do you defend yourself? How did you deal with it?
Cry. That's what I did. I cried. And I smoked a lot of hookah and I ate a lot of pizza. Yeah. I stayed in the house. I just became like a recluse. And I didn't really mess with nobody. I became very like I low-key had PTSD for a while. And I just like I got really sick during the midst of the lawsuit, developed lupus. Yeah, and it was crazy. It was very crazy. And I met my husband towards the end of the lawsuit when I was about 25. And then 2014, the lawsuit ended. I won. Got my freedom, got my name and likeness, had to pay my way out of it. Worked my butt off for the next couple of years and I made all that money back. And then started writing again. And I got a couple more hits. I had a #1 country hit with Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood called Something Bad.
Wow.
Wrote VSOP for K. Michelle. That was #1 R&B chart. Just did a lot of things like, just was trying, I think I made about 4 albums that got picked apart and sold to other artists. And I was just very, very sad. So now in hindsight, I realized like, okay, each time I crashed and hit the wall, I was like, okay, that didn't work. So let me try it this way. That didn't work. Well, let me try it this way. And what I finally concluded is that, okay, you got started on YouTube. You were just doing it for fun. You went viral, just being yourself, being silly, because I'm really goofy. I mean, give me a couple hours and I'll be, jumping all around and stuff. But right now, I haven't been to sleep, so I'm a little like, but I'm a very bubbly personality. I'm funny. I'm charming. I have a lot of personality. And so I was like, you got to get back to that somehow. And I had to shake off this, like, the industry make you feel like you got to move a certain way. You got to be cool. You can't come off as like thirsty, just all these inauthentic behaviors.
You gotta act a certain way. You gotta be a certain way. You gotta hang around certain people, and so you end up not being yourself, but whatever version of yourself it is that makes you feel like you fit in with everyone else.
Exactly. And I was doing that, because at the time as a writer, I can't show up to the studio looking like this. You can't do it. If I show up to the studio looking like this, it's curtains. I'm not gonna get any placement. The artist is not gonna want to open up to me. They're gonna be like, "Who is this showing up to my session like
Meaning,
this?"
if you show up as I guess with your hair and makeup
Fly.
done, it's it's intimidating to the actual artist. So you gotta play yourself down so that the artist doesn't feel insecure.
Yes. No shade. It's just true. And I learned very quickly, okay, put your sweatpants on, you know what I'm saying? Play your role, be cute, but just like relax. Because my job as a songwriter is to interpret the thoughts and feelings and emotions and story that the artist wants to tell. So if they don't want to talk to me, I can't do my
Yeah,
job.
I can't
Um,
do it.
yeah. So, and then there's also like the other side of it. Like if you come to the studio looking too cute, all the guys want to do is talk about how big your booty is, and just like, come on, fam, I'm here to work, So it's just best to just like show up, be quiet, speak when you're spoken to. At a certain point, I got tired of that. I got tired of like songwriters get treated really foul. They just do, and it's not okay. It's really not
Well, and
okay.
I wanted to get into that today. Muni Long is here. Look up her song Hours and Hours, and if you want to look up her whole resume, look up Priscilla Renee, which is when she's a songwriter for country records, pop records, R&B records. As you can see, she's written a lot. Yes, she wrote Timber for Pitbull, Ariana Grande, Fifth Harmony, Rihanna, all of this. So now she's got her own Muni Long, which is her own pseudonym and artist that she's putting out. But as a songwriters write these amazing records and sometimes don't get credit for it, sometimes don't get publishing. How did you as a songwriter make sure that you got paid, got credit, and got publishing? Or are there things out there that you did not get paid and get credit for that you just took it on the chin and kept hustling until you could get your own name out?
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple times, but I write so much so fast and of quality that I never fight over crumbs. And I always tell people that, like, okay, you want to get me on this one? I hope it's worth it. And that's the last time I'm ever gonna mess with you, and I mean it. But I will say that from the very beginning, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I'm on the side of the truth, have integrity, do the right thing. I'm always moving from a place of purity and love. Don't hurt people. I don't like to do that. It's not nice to, and I know that sounds like it's very like childlike word, but it's just not nice. Like it doesn't make me feel good to cheat people. Stop taking credit for things you didn't do. And that runs rampant. I mean, this is the wild, wild west. I don't even have to like be specific about who is doing. Like y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know you need to stop it. It's not cool. Um, Songwriters are not getting paid upfront fees. You got to come to the studio, figure out how to get there. A lot of times they're not doing food budgets anymore in the studio, so you got to figure out how you're gonna eat. You're in there for like 8 hours, you know what I'm saying, in a room with no windows with people you've never met, and you got to open up and share like your pain and your trauma and all these things and pour it out onto this record, and then you leave the room and, excuse my language, I call it molesting the record. So after I leave the room, you mess around with it and add people to it and take this part and move it over here and da da da. And that's all cool if you communicate to all parties involved. But that doesn't happen a lot of the times. A lot of the times in the early days of my songwriting, journey, song will be on the chart before I even found out I had a song out. It'd be out.
So wouldn't
Like, I
it be
remember,
out making money and they haven't even let you know that it's been released?
I remember getting the email one time. Congratulations on your top 10. Top 10 what? And I go and look, and there's a song that is top 10 on the chart that I wrote, and I had no clue. So, and I know if it happened to me, it's happening. It's happening.
It's
out
happening.
there.
Yeah, no, I hear the stories all the time, and I know a lot of songwriters. It's a very rough business. Now you as an independent artist, you have your project out. Y'all go support Muni Long. It's available. #1 R&B record on Apple Music. Now that you're doing this yourself, what are the phone calls like? And are they talking to you nicely and talking about some big checks? Or are you going to stay independent and never do a deal?
I don't know what God has for me. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that I put a lot into it. I have an incredible team. I'm not trying to change nothing because that's what got me where I'm at. I want to add to and build on top of, and evolve what is already there. I'm not trying to have nobody come and tell me nothing about what we got going on. Because if they could do it, they would have did it, and that's no shade. It's just, we've been on our own little corner. Like, I literally had to go to the corners of the earth to find people who were not in the general population of the industry who would say, oh, that's just Priscilla. I wanted to go and find people who had no clue about Muni Long, or, I could get away with morphing into this persona, or people who at least would respect my decision and honor it, and not, continuously try to be like, oh yeah, cool, I work with you on your artist project. By the way, I got this artist. Can I get a song? Irritate my soul. Why would you ever come in my studio session and do that? You know what I'm saying? I'm paying. I'm in here to work. I'm in here to write my stuff. I mean, I did this TikTok series about why, as a songwriter who is also an artist, you should never split your brain and try to develop your own sound and then go and contribute to another artist's sound, because those things can bleed over. And then you have issues where it's like your songs are sounding similar, which that happened to me. And I won't say who the artist is because we talked about it and she didn't really like what I had to say. And so I had to, just apologize and be like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean it like that, but I was just trying to shed some light. So to have people asking me to write songs while I'm trying to develop this Muni Long into, what it has become now, it was so frustrating in prior times. Like when I was working on the country record, people would invite me in the studio and then say, hey, we give you one song and you give us a song. And I'm like, that's not why I'm here. So I had to go far away to make this album and to create
this persona Muni Long.
Far away. I went to Atlanta. We rented a house. I stayed there for 3 months. I didn't work with nobody who I had worked with prior to, as a hit songwriter. I found all new people. The Hrs and Hrs beat I found on YouTube. Found it on YouTube. I was committed to keeping it to myself, keeping the bad energy out of it, keeping that negative energy out of it, because even as Hrs and Hrs was blowing up, people was whispering behind the scenes, if she would have gave that to Beyonce, it would have been a #1 hit. You can't even let me have it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you see it going up. So I don't have no time for nothing like that, even coming into my atmosphere, because I've created this positive, pure, incredible synergy with the team that I have. They all respect me as the boss. They're all superstars at what they do. I empower them. I don't micromanage them. We have multiple meetings a week. We have a text chain. It's just, the communication is amazing. And the relationship is amazing. There's no comparing me to anybody else. We're in our own bubble, figuring out how we want to do this and how we want to rewrite the narrative of the music business, because it's just old, and it's like, it just needs to change. Like the software.
I think the success you're seeing right now, by doing this independently and obviously navigating the industry as a songwriter, putting out a country album. You've done other things in the past under Priscilla Renee, but then now this Muni Long, I think shows that there's another blueprint of independence, not only just for songwriters, but for Black women and for R&B as well, because it is very hard to be a Black woman and be a songwriter and be a business owner in this entertainment business. It's very hard, and much salute to you and much success. And I'm very happy for you, very proud of you.
A brown skinned, dark skinned Black woman,
right?
Know, where they say that we are not commercially viable. You know what I'm saying? But you can like take our fashion and make it what it is on the runway. You know, culturally dip into us and not credit us or not include us. That's whack. So
well, and that the colorism part of all of it is very rampant in the entertainment industry, and that's worldwide.
Well, I mean, I had to like, you know, on a deeper level, since I first met you in, you know, Platinum Sound Studios in New York 10 years ago. Right. I had to go through a lot of internal, you know, mental, emotional, spiritual upgrades to get to the place where I'm at now, so I could be confident, where I can exist in this, like, I'm so accessible because I have to be on social media and I have to engage with the people. And there's there's a lot of people who are resistant, you know, talking about how I look or my song is whack or I'm a flop, you know, just I had to get myself to a place where, and even people who I looked up to since I was a kid, saying things about me, it could be very hurtful, right? But I've gotten myself to a place spiritually, mentally, physically, where I understand the way people behave is a reflection of them. It has nothing to do with me. And my role here is it's much bigger than this song. It's much bigger than me being independent and like what that means in terms of what the message is sending to my peers. It's making them very emboldened, you know, like, yeah, we're not gonna sign a deal and I feel like I'm the bridge between, because I understand as the, you know, as the head of the company, I understand why sometimes the labels make the decisions that they make, but I also understand the plight of the songwriter and the upcoming aspiring artist that feels like they're not getting that attention. It's bigger than all of that. It's a chance for me to like really help shift the conversation in a positive way. It's like, okay, I got y'all's attention. So now can we have a talk? Can we talk about this? Because there are some things that need to change. It shouldn't have been this hard for me to do it. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot. It shouldn't have been that hard, but I still got it done. So I think there's a lot to be said about when you get your mind right. Colorism exists, prejudice exists, racism exists, but it only has control over you to the extent that you allow it, you know, and that's a very sensitive subject and very sensitive conversation, a very explosive conversation for some people, but I'm proof. There has to be something to it because I did something that a lot of people said couldn't be done.
Muni Long. Let's get into the single, Hours and Hours. Go get her full project available right now on Apple Music. Will not be the first time, or won't be the last time that we have Muni Long on the program. Yo, I'm so proud of you. Send love to your team. You've come a long way. You have, what do they say? You have beaten the odds and taking control of the narrative. So I salute you.
Thank you, Ebro. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
And and listen, we're coming back to that country music too.
Oh, I got something for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we was sharing. We had a good conversation about where you can take things next. So let's keep pushing, man. Muni Long, thank you so much. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Thank you.
All right, take care.